welcome to the Cities and Channels. We look back at a great night, a great European night. We used to have some crackers at Main Road, you guys who can remember. And that was, of course, one of the better ones at the old Etihad. I had a few, as I usually do in the Champions League. I stand in the south stand in the singing section. There's quite a few new faces around me last night. But what was better last night was there were faces who were willing to get off the seats and stand on the seats and sing and shout. And you don't always get that at these cup games, certainly Champions League games. It's fantastic atmosphere last night. PSG fans were okay. We could certainly see a lot of gesticulating and all this sort of thing. Although they weren't overly loud. There's like a sliver down in the bottom bit. I'm not too sure about levels 2 and 3, but I think we did okay as fans last night. I think Pep was happy, and he keeps saying nice things in the programme about us anyway. But watch my programme watch on this game to have a look at that. So fantastic. Atmosphere-wise, brilliant, as I said, but a lot of new faces around me, but at least they were up for it, and that's all that matters. That's all I want in the singing section. I want people to shout and sing. I don't want them to just be there on the phones and doing things, and that's how it should be. They shouldn't be in that section if you're not going to shout and sing and get behind the team. But all the stadium did very, very well last night, of course. Right, City versus PSG. City 2. The fakers, it's nice to see the team with history and tradition win this game, and that's what City have got in abundance, more than PSG will ever have. I mean, all right, you come back in 100 years, I won't be here, but yes, they'll have a bit of history by then. But at the moment, they're just a mere foot. They're nothing compared to City. So don't ever anyone, Tabas, whoever you are, ever compare PSG to Manchester City. There's no comparison in this world. I don't care what you say. City 2, PSG 1. Right, rant over. Let's get on with the game. Yeah, I got the City lineup. I got 8 right. I was happy with that because obviously there's a few little wobblers thrown in by Pep, wasn't there? It was interesting front three for the second time in a row. I wasn't overly or excited or well, not the word excited. I get behind my lads, but the front three against Everton didn't inspire me. I thought it was out of form and a bit injured, and then obviously this front three was equally interesting. But Pep gets paid the big money. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? And he proved it yet again. So Edison, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo, Rodrick, and Gundogan. We'll have a word on him in a minute. He's back. Gundogan's back. Zinchenko, Bernardo, Sterling, and Mahrez. Yeah, I mean, these are sort of games we needed. We needed the Gundos to play well, didn't we? We needed Zinchenko to ratchet up a gear, even though he's not been playing. We needed, obviously, we know Bernardo's got to play well, don't we? We need Sterling to show a little bit of the form he looks to have been showing, don't we? And Mahrez equally so. But we didn't need to worry, did we? PSG, Neves, Mendes, Kimpembe, Marquinhos, Hakimi, Gia, Paredes, Herrera, Neymar, Mbappe and Messi. If you had those 3 guys' squad numbers up, as someone mentioned on Twitter today, you get the number 47, and we know who that magician is, but unfortunately he wasn't fit enough to play last night. Yeah, in charge, of course, we had Daniele Sato from Italia, and Marco Di Bello on the VAR. Yeah, they did an okay job on VAR. Didn't have much to do, did they? But we'll might not mention it. I'll mention the referee now. I thought he was pretty useless. I think he gave them the 50-50s. I didn't think he was very good at all. That's all I'm going to say anyway. I'm not going to do anything else. Quick look now on the match report. Of course, in summary, fantastic from City to come back from a goal down. Thoroughly deserved 2-1 win. I think the players probably knew, and I didn't know. I certainly didn't know, to be honest with you. I didn't even take any notice of what was happening elsewhere. So obviously the players, perhaps in the second half, played a little bit more freedom because both clubs knew they were through anyway. But as I say, I didn't get that impression. I think both teams wanted to win it, and I don't think anyone sort of gave up on it. But a great game, and I'm sure a great game for the neutral as well, if they were watching on BT or wherever you're watching around the world. Key moments, 18 minutes. I've just picked out some from the highlights when I got home last night. I've not had much chance to rewatch a lot of the game, but stuff I could remember, then I rewatched it on highlights just to confirm that the best bits, if you like. Obviously, I won't cover everything. Obviously, we haven't got all day. But obviously, 18 minutes was that. Mahrez, wasn't it? A back heel from Gundogan, and Bernardo just laid it off, and Mahrez curler seemed to be heading. I think is it Neves, the goalie? Please apologise if it's Navas or Neves. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Looked as though he may have be getting to it, but obviously the defender headed it over. But may have just got in the goal. That he may not have got a firm enough hand to it. So good save by the defender. 32 minutes, a great chance, wasn't it, down the left? A ball's not cleared properly. We get men in the box, which I like to see. I like to see City. We've got no strikers, but if you get men in the box, that's all that matters, because it could fall for you. And Gundo curled it and hit the post, of course. I thought perhaps he could have done a little bit better with that one. 43 minutes, whether this'll cost Stones his place again, I'm not too sure, but he was caught in possession, wasn't he? And obviously at the match, I just groaned, because you can't do that against someone like PSG, get caught in your own centre circle, because he broke. Fortunately, Mr. Neymar cleared Rosed into it, so that wasn't too bad. So, yeah, I mean, it was similar first half. I thought City had the best of chances. I thought City thoroughly, if on chances, should have been leading at half-time, but it wasn't likely to be. But it's a sucker punch, wasn't it? Second half, 50 minutes. Mbappe, even in the build-up, and I did notice it at the game, and obviously in looking back at it last night, there's no one was overly worried about Mbappe at that back, as he slowly built up through the middle and on the left-hand side, and that was come back to haunt us, because the cross was deflected again. There's bodies in the box. It works for us in their box. It works against us in our box. A deflection, and it sort of fell nicely for him. And all he did was hit the target. I wouldn't say he deliberately put it through Ederson's legs. Ederson, all fairness to him, as a goalkeeper, you've got to make a decision what position you're in. I'm not going to blame Ederson too much for that. And he hit the target, meant it went through Ederson's legs, and it was 1-0. And a bit gutting. Paris fans were quite happy, but we kept there. We never win at home, we never win away, do we? So we didn't worry too much then. And they didn't let us down, did they? 63 minutes. Sterling pokes in that wonderful equaliser. Again, we've got men in the box. That's what I want to see from our team. With no strikers, get men in the box where we can pick up deflections, because I think it had sort of missed out 3 PSG players, and Jesus had been brought on. Then a good move by Pep. I don't think Zinchenko had done anything wrong. I thought it was a good tactical switch by Pep, to be honest with you. He sort of nudged it through his legs onto Sterling to give him a little bit, not the most clinical tapping. Again, looked a bit scropey, but that'll do. I think it was good work by Walker on the right, wasn't it? So it's 1-1. 74 minutes, Neymar wriggled through, didn't he? But how he put that shot wide, it just reminds me a little bit of when we played Leicester in that 1-0 Vinny game with Iheanacho at RM, where it looked easier to score than miss, and Neymar did exactly the same, did everything right, and it was a good 1.5, 2 yards wide at the same end. Obviously, Iheanacho did in that Leicester game, but that could have been a blow. But we're going to let chances. They're a good team, PSG. 76 minutes, of course, we sort of finished it off, didn't we? And I don't remember being overly worried after this. Jesus side foots home, of course, from that wonderful cushioned back pass from Bernardo. Another great game after good work again by Walker and Mahrez. You'd be hard pressed to find a City player who didn't have at least a decent game last night, if not a fantastic game. Key stats: shots for City 16, on target 6. Shots for PSG 7, on target 2. So based on that, best team won. Pass percentage 54% for City, so just 46 for PSG. Pass completion rate, that's impressive. This is up there with the Everton game for City, but in a more a tougher game and a more class, a game of class. A lot of good players on that pitch. 93% pass completion by City. PSG 90%, not to be sniffed at. You don't often see two teams with over 90% pass rate in a game. Fantastic stuff. Right, on to the ratings, guys. I'll give you Mr. Brennan's rating first. My scores are out of a 7, so my minimum today is 7. I'm not going to give anyone less than a 7, even though one or two may have made slight mistakes in the game that perhaps we did get away with or we didn't get away with, but I'm going to start at 7. I don't know what Stuart Brennan for the Manchester Evening News' starting score is. I have no idea if he even has a starting score. I'm sure he does. It's probably 6, actually, based on what I see here. So let's say it's 6. Mine's 7. So here we go. Ederson. Stuart says, long spells of trying to keep warm, and then Mbappe slipped one through his leg. So Stuart's only given him a 6. I think he's been a bit mean. I'm not going to blame him for that goal. As I say, as a keeper, you don't particularly keep your legs shut. You've got to make yourself big, and if you've got quality players who can hit the target, put a ball straight, then you may get punished for it. But I think basically he should have been picked up early. I don't think it was particularly Ederson's fault, so I'm going to give him a standard 7 anyway. Kyle Walker, Stuart said, dealt with the counter-attacks and then set up Sterling's equaliser with a well-timed dart forwards. Yeah, he played very, very well. Stuart's given him a 7. I've got to give him an extra half. I thought he played very, very well. Got roasted, I think, by, was it Mendes, the full-back in the first half, where he just strolled past him, which is a bit of a worry. Fortunately, we got away with that one. But excellent forward play by Walker. I'll give him a good 7.5. I might have pushed it to 8, but I'm not going to be silly because it affects my ratings at the end of the season. I'm not just going to be silly for one game. John Stone's couple of wobbly moments, says Stuart, caught in possession and then slack on Neymar, but otherwise fine, yeah. So he's given him a 7. Yeah, I'm going to give him the standard 7. I'm not going to mark him any less than that. A couple of worrying moments, which may have cost his place for weekend. Laporte might find a little sliver, little niche to get back into the team, but yeah, nothing wrong with John Stones last night. So not 100%, but we're playing. Don't forget, we're playing a great team last night. I don't let anything be said about the Farmers League. These have some good players, very, very good players. Diaz set the standard for City defence, unfazed by the quality, says Stuart, of the opposing strike force. He wasn't. Stuart's given him an 8. I can't disagree with that. A led by example for me. I'll give him an 8. João Cancelo, his passing was excellent, says Stuart, always seeking an open space, and there was no shortage of combativeness. There certainly wasn't. Stuart's given him an 8. Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5. I thought he worked extremely well with Zinchenko. Obviously, he tried one of these right-footed passes. He didn't quite come off. I think he went out for a goal kick, obviously not with the outside of his foot, but he tried to put a little one through the gap, but it didn't quite work. But I'll give him a good solid 7.5. Cancelo. Rodri conducted the City orchestra like a maestro, says Stuart. He certainly did, and his lovely pass for Walker created the equaliser. Yeah, 8. I mean, there's a lot of things where in these goals where there's like pre-assists were very, very good from City players, to be honest with you. You can't really cover. You'd have to do an in-depth thing of it, but some great play by City. He's given me 8. Rodri, I can't disagree with that. Another excellent game. And he had a Rodri's rocket. I don't know if you guys missed it. It's not on the highlights, but I remember it at the ground where it went a good 20 yards wide. But hey, that's my old Rodri. That's why I dropped my Rodri's rockets in the first place. He was doing too many of them, but hey, at least he had a go. Ilkay Gundogan comes alive on European nights. He certainly does. And he played an important role, says Stuart, in Jesus' goal. Yeah, he's given him a 9. That's a high score from Stuart when you're giving other players 6 last night, to be honest. I don't think there's a gap of 6 to 9 between the players, in all fairness, but I'll give him an 8.5. I thought that was his best. The Gundalorian is back, guys. I'll have the image up there somewhere throughout this video. The Gundalorian is back, like Rodri's rockets. I had to dig that one out of the archives, guys. The Gundalorian, but it's there. He's back. Yeah, I loved it. One of his best displays for a long time. He rose to the occasion. Zinchenko, a little rusty in only his third start of the season, playing in midfield for the Blues for the first time. She's only given him a 6. I thought he played really well. I thought Zinchenko was excellent that first half. I thought the link-up play and that more forward, that position he plays internationally, doesn't he? That's the position I thought he'd play a bit further back, and Cancelo would be further up. But no, Pep, he's a clever guy, isn't he? He sort of played him in that role he plays for his international team very, very well. I thought he played well. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I thought he played well, considering he'd not played at that sort of level for a long time. Mahrez delivered to Bernardo for the second goal was exquisite, and he threatened all night. He certainly did. Perhaps not as lively second half, but hey, nothing. I mean, the thing with Mahrez, he gets dragged down to whatever level he's playing, or he gets pumped up to whatever he's playing. So when he's playing internationals, he plays really well because he's an international. When we play good teams and he's playing, hopefully he plays pretty well, and he did last night. So Stuart's given him an 8. I have to agree with that. He came alive in this European theatre, I think, last night. Bernardo Silva, well, we're running out of superlatives, aren't we? Stuart says, still running, still creating, still snapping and harrying. How does he do it? Well, he just works hard, mate. He needs a rest sometime, though. Stuart's given him a 9 again. Again, to say the difference between 6 and 9 between some of the players, but I'll give him an 8.5. My joint highest score, absolutely fantastic. The little maestro and that little cushion back to Jesus, subtle, brilliant. Other players might have had a shot there or whatever, but he knew Jesus was in a far better position. Raheem Sterling, let's finish off with, well, no, we've got another one. We've got Gavi, haven't we? Substitute. Of the starting 11, Raheem Sterling snapped up the kind of poacher's goals as Stuart. He was bagging 2 seasons ago and deserved it. And Stuart's given an 8. I can't disagree with that. I think these rumours that he's asked to leave of the last couple of games give him a kick up the bum he needs. Perhaps he thinks he has to play for the teams to want him now. I mean, if he does want to go, if that increases, talks of 40 million for Raheem Sterling. I'm sorry, that is absolutely ridiculous. Looking at that game against Everton, that game today, you've got to be talking 60, 70, 80 million even for Raheem Sterling. He's still only young, isn't he, as well? But at last, we're seeing a little bit more of the old Raheem Sterling, and long may it continue. Although, as I said, if it's the fact that he's happy that he's going now, and that's why he's playing well, I won't be too happy with that. But hey, let's take what we get, guys, from him anyway. Gary Jesus, who came on 54 minutes, so I will mark him, obviously, because he was on long enough. Big impact and a goal, I mean, Stuart's only given him a 7. This is where Stuart's scores are a bit weird, even for a substitute. I have given him a 7.5. He did what he did well, as a bit of a nuisance. Nothing would quite work for him. He was in the way for the sort of assist, of course, for the first goal. But obviously, that sort of second goal, he just side-footed it calmly into a goal, as you would do as a striker sometimes. And that's what he is. He is a striker, a winger striker. So a great, fantastic. All credit to Pep for making the substitution. All credit for Gabby for, as we all expect with Gabby, working his socks off. Man of the match, it's between Gundo and Bernardo for me, wasn't it? But me and Bernardo, or as my lad calls him, the Irishman, Bernard O'Silva. Yeah, well, that's my lad's sense of humour, guys. I'm sorry about that. I had to get that in. I said I would. He said it this morning, him or the Irishman. I said, who's the Irishman? I was trying to think, rack my brains. Does anyone talk like an Irishman, like Rodders or something like that? Rodri or something like that. Yes, Bernard O'Silva. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Right, so it's between them two, and Bernard O'Silva's had far too many, so I'm going to give it the Gundalorian. Yes, he's back, guys. The Gundalorian's back. He was my man of the match last night. Overall record now reads 6 played. City have won 4, drawn 1 and lost 1, so that's not too bad, is it? Going forward, quick look at our opposition, PSG. They're dominating the French league. The double digits ahead of anyone else after about 12 or 13 games. Pochettino, I think there was a bit of a meeting. It's looking to me as though he's the guy United want, and if they do want him, I tell you what, guys, we'll spend some money and buy out his contracts and get him over there and get yourself sorted out. I don't want to say that because I think he'll do an okay job there. Hopefully he'll continue to be the cereal bottle he seems to be at the moment, but as I said, he looks as though he's going to lead him to a title. It's early days in France, but he's got a good team there, but don't forget, City are one of the best teams in Europe. PSG are still one of the best teams in Europe, but they do lack something defensively. They played very well the first half. I thought they were excellent, putting bodies on the line like you'd expect City to do. They played very, very well, but putting those bodies on the line in the second half didn't quite work when City or the opposition get men in the box as well as City did. And sometimes the little deflections and the little nudges go your way. Sometimes they don't, and the defence gets away with it. But defensively, I thought they were okay. Again, just 2 excellent teams in attack who obviously will create chances, so there's no problem there. But they are still vulnerable at attack if they ever want to do something like lift the Champions League. They're certainly capable of it in a one-off game. Anyone is. But over 2 games, I would always take City to beat them. I know they beat us on aggregate, didn't they, this time, if you look at it like that. But that's not how it was played, is it? That's obviously that's a different ball game if that had came into the equation. So I think over 2 legs we'll always have a chance of beating them. Over a one-off game with players like them 3 up front for them, particularly Messi for me. I'm not a particular Neymar fan, but he's a nuisance, and I do like Mbappe. But I say with those 3 up front, they can do anything, can't they? But be interesting to see what happens with Pochettino for them, won't it, in the coming weeks. City, again, we've seen 2 or 3 this season, a real show of character. There's been a lot of games where we've not had to show character. They've been far too easy. You think of the Everton game, for instance, was far, far too easy. We have shown games where we've not shown any real character. The Palace game, perhaps Southampton. But every player was stepped up for this one. And even where the little mistakes happened, it didn't matter. At the end of the day, we're playing a quality team. There's no KDB, no Foden, no Grealish. We're taking out 3 cracking players there of quality, real quality. PSG had all their 3 quality players, didn't they, up front? But we still look to fret going forward. And as I said, get men. I think it must be the 4th time I've said it. We can get bodies up attacking. I think there was one cross from Walker in the second half. I didn't mention it, where it just literally went across the 6-yard box. I've not seen it back on replay. But, they're the sort of things where you perhaps need more of an instinctive striker up and in and around the box. But generally, if you get our swathe of midfielders in the box, we'll score goals. And that's what we did. It was fantastic. because we all know deflections can work for you, but they can obviously work against you. But of course, they can work for you as well, and that's what counts. You need a little bit of luck in football. It's not a lot of skill, but you still need that little bit of percentage of luck as well. A great win. And it certainly stored for me. You know me, after I was determined to win this one. I wanted to win it after Paris. As I say, and I want to win it because, as I say, from a footballing tradition point of view, PSG don't come near to Manchester City. So all these teams, just because we've got rich owners, doesn't mean you can debunk the traditions and the history of Manchester City. We've been here since 1880 in one form or another. Fantastic history. Not plenty of trophies won now. Even if you go back, and say, well, we've won all our trophies the last 10 years. We've got a fantastic tradition before that and history. But it's not all been about winning trophies. There's lots of things. And City for me, I do my history, as you know, so I'm biased, but we have one of the richest histories in world football, if not up there, top 2 or 3, to be honest with you, even a line for European giants like Real Madrid, etc. So, yeah, I'm so glad we got that picture last night. I'm digressed, don't I? But I'm just dead chuffed that we managed to get revenge and beat Paris. As I say, it didn't look great when they took that lead, but hey, all credit to City for coming back. So it's a dead rubber, isn't it, in Leipzig now for both? Well, PSG have got one as well, so it'll be interesting because they're both on the same point. So I can see kids. They won't all be kids over there, but I can see Pep. Obviously, there's no crowd either, which affects it. But I can see some kids getting some experience, which won't be as good without fans, of course. But yeah, I can see at least 2 or 3. I can see McAtee, Palmer, obviously, definitely getting a chance over there in Leipzig, and obviously depending on fitness of other first team players, obviously some others might get a game as well. But we'll see that. We'll talk about that when we get to it. And as I say, thanks. Great atmosphere last night. Hope it came over on the cameras as it was there. It was had its quieter moments as it always will be, but fantastic. And a lot of tourists, a lot of unusual accents and languages around me last night. Hey, but if you get behind the club, and there's a little lad with a City hat on, and he was a St Johnstone fan, but he has a soft spot for City, so Dad had brought him down, and he obviously, but that's great. At the end of the day, it wouldn't have done any harm, would it? Obviously, if you get a guy who's got a soft spot for City who supports St Johnstone, why not? Hey, that's what football's all about, isn't it? At that level, I mean, can't all be dyed in the wool like us guys who've been there since we were knee-high to a grasshopper sort of thing. Anyway, join me this week as we look forward to the West Ham game. Yeah, the History Boys feature's out now, looking back at a game in 1976. I was a bit younger then, I had lots of hair. I've got no images from that game or anything like that, but join me for that History Boys thing. There'll be a link on screen and below. Please check that out if you can. And of course, I'll have the Odd Show and the West Ham preview coming up as well this week. So the Odd Show Friday and the preview of the game on Saturday. So please join me for that. Leave all your comments. Let me know your man of the match and your player ratings if you've got time to do it. That'll be fantastic. To all my regulars, can't wait to hear from you. From you guys, can't wait to hear from you either. Anyway, I love you all. Thanks for watching. A cheerful one this morning. It was a late night, but I got plenty of sleep because I wasn't in work. So I might be suffering tomorrow morning when I get up, but early for work. But hey, we'll enjoy it when we can, don't we? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, look after each other. So we'll be here again on the Citizen channel. Or perhaps, please have a look. Have a rest from football. Have a look at my film and TV channel. I try and inform and entertain on there as well with my reviews and information blog. So have a look at that. Give us a thumbs up on there, guys. I'm always a bit short on there. I get lots on the football ones, but not so much on my film and TV. So if you can do that, you make an old man very, very happy. And I am very happy today anyway. So you make an old man very much happier. Thank you very much. Until next time, I only that's one thing, don't guys? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.